Selling more cars despite tariffs. What's going on, everybody? David Feldman-Makrias back with you. And this title actually might be adjusted here. You might see sell more cars despite tariffs, more and new. But if you're in the automotive space and you're a dealer, you're a general manager, you're a marketing manager, you're anybody, a vendor who's in the automotive space, you'll note that the last couple days there were some major developments, right? Major developments. So what do we see? When I look at automakers' tariffs, 2 days ago, Trump says he couldn't care less if foreign automakers raise prices. Trump tariff jolt Asian automakers. U.S. automakers make mad dash to persuade Trump to temper tariffs. Essentially, the presidential administration announced a 25% tariff on automakers that make their vehicles outside the United States. So, here's the complicated thing about that. And this is more to the consumers rather than the dealership personnel, because dealership personnel will understand. But if there's any consumers watching this, what does that mean? Well, a lot of American-made vehicles are actually not entirely made in the United States. And I saw this cool visualization here. There's tons of them out there by this point. Visual capitalists visualize where automakers build cars sold in America. Where cars sold in America. So U.S. is white, Canada and Mexico is black, and other is gray. So Tesla is 100% in the U.S. Gee, wonder if there's any insider information there with Elon being part of Doge. That's interesting. Ford, 77% in the U.S. GM, only 52%. Very interesting. Nissan, only 52%. So GM and Nissan are almost the same. Stellantis, 57%. Stellantis is Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram. And then we have some of the other ones. Toyota, 48%. Kia, 33%. VW, 21%. And the other dashes, Canada and Mexico and other, it's really on everybody, supposedly, but subject to change by the time this actually gets rolled out. So these sweeping tariffs are going to crack down on the automotive industry. Trump on Wednesday announced 25% tariffs on autos and parts that are not produced in the U.S. effective April 2nd. That is tomorrow. This is not an April Fool's. So my primary audience is automotive marketing personnel, car dealership agencies, local business marketing. But right now, I'm talking to my automotive personnel, right? What can we do to sell more cars? Well, let's get into it. And how can we market this? Let's get into that right now. So, sell new cars despite tariffs. I'm going to adjust this title, like I said, sell more cars despite tariffs. And I can't make my head any smaller. Oh, no, we didn't want it that big. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to stay that big. Okay, so made a little mini presentation, couple slides, right? Couple slides just to give some ideas. Let's get into it. So I want to start with education. I find to gain the most trust with the consumer is to educate them. A lot of consumers don't realize what this means. They may hear this tariff passed around. They may think prices are going up. They may think less jobs. Who knows what they may think? As a single point or group dealers, we need to educate them on what that means for their next purchasing journey, right? Because what I've seen at the last bit of March is there was a big influx across a lot of the stores that I have business with. Well, spring market's here. March is usually pretty good. However, not only that, but with March being pretty good, we have to also realize that a lot of people might have rushed to buy a car before these tariffs really kick in. So does that mean April and May are going to slow down a little bit? Not sure, right? Not sure. So education. We need to educate on what's going on. And it's tough because dealers are going to be getting this, as it comes. So I want to focus on messaging first. We need to understand what the message is. When people think about messaging, they're thinking about offers or sales or things like that. I want to stay within this focus of education. So educate the customer. I really can't move my head. Educate the customer about what's happening. Some product lines may be affected and info will be changing. Here's how and how often we'll keep you updated. Right? To have some sort of centralized communication, whether it be a Facebook page, a YouTube video, or some just general content on your website, that's what I'd recommend. So you have one centralized location that you can just update people on, because maybe, you know, your BDC staff is going to be receiving a lot of questions on what's happening. So you can always just arm them with, you know, like if the owner or GM records a quick video, hey, this is where we're going to update you about tariffs. We're going to educate you on what's going on. We're still going to be the best pricing possible. This is how we're going to do it. Please follow this page if you have any questions. And then you just have a section on your Facebook page that is dedicated to your updates with tariffs, right? Or YouTube, if it's on the YouTube page, or if it's on your website, you know, I think that'd be great. Platforms you can use, Facebook page, like I said, website, and YouTube, or even email. But we'll get into email and that in a second. So, gotta move my head here. Maybe I'll just go like this for now. So, content and messaging, right? Long form. Let's see if we can do this. Okay. There we go. Click back. All right, content and messaging. Long form content page that lives on the website and gets updated. So anybody handling, and when I say content, I think about just information shout out. Like right now, this video is a form of content. It's video content, right? But there's also written content that can live as text on your page. I like to start with one big piece of long form content and then take that big piece and recontextualize it to all your different platforms. A lot of the times I find that easiest to do in our business with video. And video is really, really, you know, relatable right now. And there's so many different platforms. You can push it on social media, YouTube, everywhere. So that's why I start with video. So if owners or GMs or whoever's in charge of that can put together a 2 to 3 minute video, very informal about, hey, this is what's happening. This is how we're going to update the information, blah, 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 blah. They can give that piece of video to their content team. Maybe it's someone who handles SEO or something like that, their website vendor, and then that content team can help contextualize it or write the words to put on their website too. And that can host the video. So that would be one example of how you can multi-purpose it out. You can also use that video and splice it to Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and wherever you want, right? So start with long form. And I think a 2 to 3 minute video of brief explanations would be great. And maybe you schedule it out too. Like you can have one video a week just come out about how it's adjusting. Quick video content from the owner GM briefly explaining what this means. And then you can repurpose it for all channels. One thing to do too is like some talk tracks would be, okay, the product line, right? Let's say I'm a Jeep store. And maybe, you know, the Grand Cherokee and the Compass have main factories in the U.S., so that's safe. But the majority of parts for the Wrangler and the, what else do they make? Wrangler and Wagoneer are actually in Mexico, let's say. So you can say something on your channel and talk about, well, you know what? New cars really, the following new cars won't be as affected. The Compass and Grand Cherokee will actually still be available with legitimate pricing, but they will go fast. One thing to note is that Wrangler and Wagoneer might have slowed inventories or slowed service or whatever the case may be, because it affects automotive parts too. So this is not only going to focus on selling more cars for this time, but it's servicing as well. It creates a whole bunch of supply chain issues. Reminds me of COVID. So we'll see about that. But hopefully this helps generate some ideas. Paid campaigns. So that's what my team and I specialize in. How can we use them for paid campaigns? So boost messaging and creative discussed above. So any long form, like that long form, that video, like that 3-minute video, let's take that, let's boost it everywhere as a paid campaign. We can run YouTube ads to that. We can run Facebook and Instagram ads to that. That would be great. So the platform would be Facebook, Instagram. YouTube is example. And then the tactic would be videos or even traffic ads. I like the idea of a video because it helps build trust and rapport with someone, even if you've never met them. So I like sticking with video, and then you can repurpose it in the written form too. Okay, used car initiatives. This falls right under paid campaigns. So with new cars being affected, production being affected, we got to go to used cars, right? I predict that if these tariffs stay and not a lot is tempered, I predict that the used cars will actually increase in demand because, they'll be supposedly more affordable and more in supply. But the problem is the more demand that they have, the more the price will go up. So the demand for used cars will most likely go up. And what can dealers do? So dealers can obviously adjust pricing. You know, your used car should be on point, whether you're using vAuto or a different inventory pricing solution. You should definitely spot check and definitely go through some of these things so your pricing is the most what should I say, aggressive possible, because there's a lot of room for opportunity. Also, I think properly segmented inventory search campaigns are more important now than ever. I actually talk about this on a separate video, which I'm actually going to put a link to above. You should see. And that video talks about how we, especially for used, how we help sell more used cars for a specific dealer that needed help with used cars. And we did it through used car inventory segmentation, which basically says, okay, all of the inventory we have, because Google VLAs, Google being the king of search right now, because Google VLAs don't necessarily show cars based off of price and based off of trim specificity, we have to categorize these campaigns for vehicles that we want to make sure get the most amount of exposure. And we can do that on a trim or even VIN level as long as they're grouped. So, for example, buckets that are going to be hot, certified pre-owned. Maybe you want to push those. Maybe you don't because you think they'll sell regardless. Nevertheless, there's always going to be a used segment that's going to be popular, right? Not popular, but in demand. But there's also a used segment that's not really going to be in demand. You know, maybe age vehicles won't be the bucket that gets a lot of exposure. That's always a common tactic that I think really, really helps dealers. They always have quote unquote lot rot, right? And with vAuto and tools like that, you're priced aggressively. So how do we just push those vehicles even more? Our segmentation of used inventory with aged used, as an example, really, really is effective. I've seen that very effective. And there's tons of different buckets we can create. And if you don't have any right now, you really should. Your agency should help you out. Let me know in the comments if anybody watching this doesn't have their used car game really up to snuff. We can change that for a very, very cost-effective result. So, example buckets, certified pre-owned, age used, off-brand. Off-brand's really good too. You know, if you're a Jeep store or a Ford store and you're selling Acuras or Nissans and new Nissans and new Acuras, you can capture that market, especially if they're in that certified bucket. So imagine if new Nissans and new Hondas cost 25% more, but you're able to get 2022, 2021 new Honda Civic. I mean, that's great. You can promote that and push that. You might not even have to, but some of the other off brands that you can't get rid of, that's where your inventory segmentation is really going to come into play. And overall, I think that you're just going to have to get really efficient with your advertising. I mean, there's never been a bigger time to get more efficient with your advertising for the car dealer world than it is now. Agencies, big agencies, I'd see it audit and time after again. They fail to pivot. They don't utilize all the assets available, and that really affects their ability to be nimble for the dealer in these changing times. And I think it's a big reason why the car dealer marketing is a little bit archaic, and there's a lot of opportunity for growth. The faster you are, the better you are, and the more assets you use, that is what's going to make the difference. That's what we believe in, and that's what we've seen work time and time again. I have a dealer group that I'm working with currently, and we launched some luxury campaigns, and those luxury campaigns have really, really generated good traction just within the first 5 days. So you can see immediate impact. But anyways, the final thing is search campaigns offer specific messaging based off of tariff searches, right? And I have the keyword new car tariff. So check this out. If I go to Google search and I'm looking at Google Trends. You can find it trends.google.com. I like coming in here to see like what national type of keywords are actually ranking. So I just put in for fun new car tariff, and I'm looking at the past 90 days in the United States. And notice, I mean, like flatline, right? Flatline, 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 little bit of lift, little bit of lift. Ah, boom! March 27th, when was that? Was that Wednesday? I don't know my days anymore. March 27th, 2025. What was it? It was a, what day? Thursday. Okay, so it was a Thursday. Right after, his announcement on Wednesday, which makes sense, right? And we have that peak, and now it tapered off a little bit, but your interest is still high. So that means a lot of people are searching this new car tariff. I mean, to have a dedicated, again, long form, right? To have a dedicated long form video that lives on your website along with written content, that maybe has some frequently asked questions answered, and then a lead form about what your personalized automotive purchasing plan could be, contact so-and-so. You can have a search campaign, meaning just write a text ad, and be out there for these searches. I think it'd be great to test, especially to a dedicated landing page. So, take advantage of it now, right? Drive traffic. Any way we can get attention on this and help educate our customers is really good. So that's what I would do, something a little more nimble, off specific messaging based off tariff searches. So those are my ideas for paid campaigns, at least for now. That's it. How can my team and I help further? Should we write some sample ads? Should I show you example searches? Should I point out example content to emulate? Should I give sales ideas? Let me know in the comments how myself and my team can actually help further. And that's exactly what we'll do. And I'm looking forward to serving you guys. Let me know in the comments how I can help. I'm willing to do whatever it is. And there's definitely opportunity. Any which way something shifts and we think maybe it's disadvantageous, there's always a silver lining within that to actually, scroll through and find and take advantage of. So that's it. Thank you guys so much. David Feldman-Makrias here. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts is and how I can help. And we'll see you in the next one.